ready. Ready to get in the zone. Now, you're in the red zone with your host, Gene Ponte and Joey Pender.
Hey, good Wednesday evening, everybody, and welcome to the Ross Downs Red Zone. Joey Pender, Gene Ponte, and glad you stopped in with us as we talk about what is the opening week of the high school football playoffs. And we've got a lot of teams, 30 some are, as always, well represented. I think we've had an exciting 10 weeks of football, but this is really when you put the white boots on and time to get after it.
This is where the rubber meets the road, Gene.
That's right.
This is what you play for all year long, and this is the games that really count down the stretch.
Folks, if you have not seen the brackets, we will share them with you. We'll talk about just about every coach, every program that is going to the playoffs here in the next hour or so here on Fox. A quick note today too, earlier, reclassification took another step. The lines were kind of drawn as far as district, and while we don't have anything set in stone, I think coaches have a little bit better feel for what they're doing.
Well, everybody kind of knows where they are, and Gene, this is when you start trying to find out who's with you or who's against you. So
whether teams from here will be playing in the Alexandria teams or maybe working out a deal to play in Shreveport. So
yeah, and you got to watch them because some of them will go this way and say this, and a lot of things be shuffled around before it's final.
Well, it's always fun to see it play out. It happens every 2 years, and this happens to be one of those years. Folks, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to sit down with Coach Jared Baugh and those Ruston Bearcats. We'll see you in a few.
It's been a few years since my playing days.
Even longer for me, but the dedication to hard work,
The competition too, Dad.
has laid the foundation for the type of attorneys we are.
Our team at the Downs Law Firm is proud to support our local high school football programs.
All season long, you'll hear us on K104 Friday Night Scoreboard Show, and this year we're helping to raise money for local charities as part of our Game of the Week.
Winning on and off the field.
It's what we do.
Get in the game. Call Ross.
$2.99 for a Car Hub Classic. What a steal.
Steal. That's a heist. Put this on.
Oh, disguise.
I don't think I can eat in this.
It's all part of the plan, my friend.
Get a quarter-pound double cheeseburger or a Slinger Plus Tots for $2.99. Try it today.
At Sonic, we're dedicated to the future of this community.
That's why we're a proud sponsor of the Sonic Drive-In Red Zone Scholarship.
A $2,000 scholarship will be awarded to a deserving high school senior, and in turn will be used to help further his or her education at the college of that student's choice.
Applications can be picked up at any participating Sonic Drive-In in Monroe, West Monroe, Jonesboro, or Winfield, and all entries are due in or before November 12th. Sonic Drive-In Red Zone, proving students are winners.
As a local business owner, one of the things I like to do is work with other local businesses. And when we started our company back in 1995, one of the things we realized that we needed for our employees was a quality health insurance plan. That's why finding a company like Vantage that's a local company that provides quality health care and networks with other doctors was just a natural fit for us. If you're a local business owner and you're looking for a quality health insurance plan, I suggest that you give Vantage a call. I think you'll be just as satisfied with their product as I have been.
High school football in the Arklamis. It's where hometown legends are made. It's where loyal fans come together every Friday night. Some call it an obsession. At NBC 10, we call it a proud tradition. And no one covers your team like our team.
All right, everybody, as I say, going into the commercial break, we've got the Bearcats on board to talk about their season. Head coach Jared Baugh to talk about Ruston in their year. They'll go into the playoffs, hosting Como on Friday night, and as the 8th seed. Pretty good spot to be in, huh, Coach?
Yes, sir. We feel very fortunate.
What do you think, as you kind of looked at the bracket kind of coming out where you were finishing, did it really much matter, or you were ready to get after it in the second season?
We're just ready to get after it. You know, that's one of the things we've talked about all season is looking forward to the playoffs, and it didn't make any difference where we landed. We wanted to play as well as we could the entire season and be playing our best football whenever the playoffs made it here.
Well, welcome to the Red Zone. I know you got a couple of guys with you that have obviously been instrumental in y'all's success this year. Introduce them to us.
Yes, sir. We've got number 7, Eric Outley, our quarterback, and number 42, Dylan Skinner, plays linebacker for us.
Well, guys, welcome aboard. It's a little cold in here, folks. I know you can't feel it at home, but it's a little chilly, isn't it, Eric?
Yes, sir.
Hey, let's talk about this season. You guys early on opened up against the Neville football team, and I thought really just took them to them from the get-go, and then had a couple little ladder games along the way, lost a game on a last play, but you guys have kind of stayed the course, and I think y'all become a better football team because of it. Talk to me a little bit about that development through the 10 games.
I feel like that after beating Neville and then losing, then winning, losing, it kind of brought us together a little bit after losing the game and winning the game. But I mean, I feel like we're a great team right now.
Dylan, the same question to you. Obviously, everybody loves to play in the playoffs. It's what you play for. And I think you guys have earned the number 8 seed. I think you're a good football team and in a spot to make some noise. You agree?
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about y'all's progression going into this season. What made y'all a better football team?
I mean, just the preparation. You know, the summer workouts, being there every day, working out, giving it all you got. I mean, keeping that goal in mind that we were going to the state championship, and just keep working for that.
Of course, I've been knowing you a long time. And early in the season, you know, y'all jump off to that big win, but it seemed like some part of the game, those losses y'all had, things just kind of fell off, like your tire fell off your truck. And then the next game, you get it right back. And I've said all along in our radio show with Gene that I think the Ruston Bearcats is going to hurt some people's feelings in the playoffs.
Well, I think so. You know, we were very inconsistent early on, and that's one thing throughout the season that we've talked about is we played as well of football as anybody at times, and then we haven't played very well at times. So, you know, working on that throughout the 10-game regular season is something that we wanted to concentrate on. And as the end of the season got here, I think we've been a lot more consistent, and you'll have to be playing the teams that you'll see in the playoffs.
That's right.
Hey, Dylan, you guys go on the road to wrap up Week 10, beat a Pineville team that I think really wanted a piece of you guys the other night. But defense wins championships, and you're on that side of the ball. And talk to me about y'all's play over there.
Defense in general, I mean, Jalen Penninger, one of our big safeties is Joseph Evans. He played a big role in, you know, getting the secondary right, because early on in the defense, we would miss a line and miss some assignments and stuff, and he finally stepped up and got that right.
Hey, Eric, I know as a quarterback, of course, as you can tell, me and Gene didn't play quarterback, but you have to give a lot of credit to your offensive line. Talk about those guys a little bit.
I feel like I have one of the best offensive line in the state, and I'm very tight with them. We're cool, and I just feel like they go out and play hard every Friday.
That's always a good group to be tight with. Am I right, Eric? They kind of got your back, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah, y'all got some pretty big old boys up front too, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good deal.
Hey, Eric, you guys through the course of the season too have kind of changed your game a little bit. Of course, it's nice to have a target like a tight end that you have, and you can talk about him some. But you guys, I thought, did a nice job of balancing the run and the pass this season.
Yes, it is nice to have Ray. He's 6'6", so all you got to do is just throw it up. But we have other guys that play very well for us. Our 2 running backs, Hassan and Trey Griffin, they're very good. And then our wide receivers, they catch the ball and they work in open space.
Coach, you guys have a home game on a Friday night against a Como team. I know you like to look at the brackets and see how things fall, but at this point in time, it's one game at a time.
It is, and that's what we're concentrating on. You know, you don't get a chance to go to the next week unless you take care of the one that you're playing this week. So we're looking forward to playing at home in front of a home crowd, and I think we'll have a good showing of folks from Ruston there. So we're looking forward to it.
I think those guys were, 4 and 5 a year ago. Doug Dotson, I believe, is the head coach down there. So he's obviously taken that program to another level here in the last year. What do they do schematically?
Well,
fans will see.
You know, his dad was the head coach at Acadiana for years.
Long time.
And you know, the stadium's named after him, so he's been around football for a long time. They're very similar to what if you go to an Acadiana football game, which we played them earlier in the season, so it'll be very similar. We're looking, you know, at their quarterback. He's for sure the guy that we're going to have to stop defensively if we plan on winning the football game. And they're very solid on defense. So we'll have our work cut out. But again, I think it'll come down to how consistent we play throughout the ball game to move on.
George, final thought?
Dalen, tell me about being a linebacker and the role you play, but what does Como bring to the game that y'all are concerned about?
Their quarterback, number 9, he's a pretty good athlete. I mean, if the ball's in his hands, he's going to try to run it, he's going to try to make a play, and he usually does make that play. So
y'all going to have to kind of contain that guy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's always nice to have a home game, especially in the opening round of the playoffs. So it will be the Spartans and the Bearcats on Friday night. Of course, we'll be back next week to talk about that ball game and hopefully what would be a W for both of you guys. I get a big yes on that one. All right, folks, commercial break time. We'll talk about the other two teams, West Monroe and Washington, on 5A after break.
Relax at Dax. Bring your whole crew. You can get together with all your friends and family at Dax, where there's always good food, good brew, and good times. Dax is a great place to watch the game. Enjoy appetizers and drinks while you watch. Dive into our delicious burgers, signature wings, or one of the favorites from the grill. We have a wide selection of drinks to choose from, including daiquiris. Relax at Dax, Forsyth Avenue in Monroe.
At Highcombe Eye Center, restoring your vision is our passion. Pioneering new technology and setting new standards in cataract care. Exclusively at Highcombe Eye Center, we offer the combination of the precision of the Aura as well as the planned accuracy of the Varian Alcon Duet.
Cataract surgery with the Aura and Varian system is the next step in personalized surgery in ophthalmology. It truly improves the patient's vision and improves their lives.
Call to schedule your cataract evaluation.
Fox 14, the official home for NFL and New Orleans Saints football.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the big show. And before we start talking football, we want to talk money. That should have perked your ears just a little bit. Don't forget, we're giving away, thanks to our good friends at our neighborhood Sonic Drive-Ins, a $2,000 college scholarship that's going to go to a young man or woman who is a graduating senior this year. And in order to get it, pretty easy stuff.
Easy stuff. Go by Sonic, pick up an application, fill it out, turn it in. West Monroe, Jonesboro, or Winfield. Turn it into one of those and you'll be in the running for $2,000.
We've got a committee that will sit down and go through them all, but again, Joey just gave you the locations. You saw them on your screen. We are running out of time, so make it a point of going by there this week and getting an application and filling that baby out, and we'll hope to make somebody a little bit happier as they get ready to enroll next year in college. We're off and running tonight with 5A football. The West Monroe Rebels, they have been the #1 team in 5A ball all season long, and they'll go into the playoffs this year in that same spot. And of course, they're coming off a win this past week against Natchitoches Central, Joey, and really kind of make things look easy.
Yeah, you know, Powell's a district team. Powell has a real good receiver down there, Jacob Sylvia, one of the best athletes in the Alexander area, but he's going to have to be on his game to play against the Rebels.
Jerry, tell us about them.
Well, they never get old. That's what we play for. Kids excited. We're coaches are excited. The community's excited. You know, if you don't make the playoffs here, it's not good. But that should be where it is everywhere. We've got a great community, and they certainly support us. And they'll be there Friday night. We certainly remind them, and you see it all the time, that number one seeds get upset all the time, and maybe in other sports most so, certainly in basketball, but we've seen it in football, and I remind them of that. It's you can't control what the other team does. The only control we have is how well we prepare and how well we play on Friday nights.
All right, thanks, Coach. Ouachita earned themselves a number 10 spot in the bracket for Friday night. They'll begin action on Parkway. It comes on the heels of a nice victory this past Friday night. But they're playing a Parkway school that we hadn't heard a lot about, Joey.
No, Parkway's got 35 seniors that Letterman returning. So that's a quality number of seniors returning for your football team. A very talented quarterback, Amon Larry, very talented, good skills, and can run the football.
Jeff?
So we've got Parkway coming into the Lions Den on Friday. Should be a very good matchup. They're a very athletic football team. Very athletic, skilled players on defense as well as offense, and then should be a really, really good matchup. We seem to be very similar football teams, and the way that we line up offensively and defensively, and the style of play that we have.
Obviously, we talked to Ruston back at the top of the show, but here's all of our teams out of that 5A district. Pineville again at Rebel Stadium. Como will be in Ruston. Parkway taking on our Lions, and Central of Baton Rouge taking on those Trojans of Ash in round 1. 4A football, the Neville Tigers, tried to get an early jump on the postseason by playing last Thursday night against Bastrop. It was the district championship game, and early on we thought it was going to be a war, but I'll be honest with you, just too many penalties on that night. Neville survived the night. They win the district championship, and they've got Opelousas, Joey.
And Opelousas has got speed all over the field. Devin Nichols is a receiver. He's a 4-3 guy. In fact, they have 2 of those guys. A running back, Marvin Young, he's also a 4-3 guy. So Neville better be ready for a little speed. They're going to see it.
It's an exciting time of year. Our Tigers are certainly ready to go. Excited about the opportunity to play at home. First round of the playoffs, and you can't look past anybody. You got to take it one play at a time, and certainly something we're trying to sell this week. But our guys will be excited. We're looking ready to go. They're very athletic. They're skilled athletes. Offense are very good. As you said, they're a team that's 5-5. They come up here with some excitement about being in the playoffs. It's been some time since they've entered the state playoffs, so they're certainly excited about that. We know that we'll draw their best punch up here, and something we've got to be ready for.
All right, best of luck, Mickey, on Friday night. Of course, I mentioned the Bastrop Rams. They lost to the Tigers. I thought they did some good things this past week, other than shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. They fumbled on the 1-yard line going in, which would have made it maybe a different ball game. But anyway, the Rams have to get ready for a team coming up out of New Orleans, and that's McDonough 35.
And McDonough 35, Gene, they starting 11 new guys on offense. They have a quarterback named Torrey Chambers. He's the center of the attention on that offense. He's a kind of playmaker. He does a lot with the football.
Adrian, tell us about him.
We have McDonough 35 at home, first playoff game. 35 is equivalent to a lot of other New Orleans teams. That's why we scheduled people like Carver on our schedule and Brother Martin, so we have the opportunity to play New Orleans team and to travel to New Orleans if that ever comes up. Very fast, very athletic, coached up very well, especially on the defense side of the ball. We're just hoping to go in and do what it is that we do it well, do it fast, do it hard and tough, and come out with a victory.
Another one of our local teams making the postseason in 4A ball is Franklin Parish. Those guys will go in as the 20 seed, but they'll have to take their show on the road down to Pearl River. That's one of those schools in the river parishes of Louisiana. You're looking at some of the highlights of their ball game and win against West Ouachita from last week. But Pearl River, not a team we hear a lot about, but not too shabby, obviously.
No, and Pearl River has 16 starters back from last year. The quarterback is back as a starter, Justin Dean, a good athlete, good arm, a decent arm. But, Gene, what they do have is one of the best kickers in the state, and Hunter Morrison.
Well, if the Patriots can survive the 4-hour drive, they might be able to get a W.
I think for us, it goes back to what I guess I've said a million times is, don't turn the ball over on offense, and defensively just don't have any big plays. So it's going to be a heck of a ride. It's about a 3-hour, 45-minute haul down there. So we're going to have to prepare and, you know, get down there and make sure we're down there and our heads are still on from that ride and go out and have a good game.
Boy, I'll tell you, that is a long haul.
Yeah.
All right, before we show you the lineup for 4A, I want to throw out kudos to the Chiefs, who obviously came up short. They needed to win that ball game against the Patriots to make the postseason. They finished 2 spots out of it. But Matt Middleton, in his second year out of West Washita, I certainly think he's got the right people in place. Man, he just got crippled by injuries this year. He had 11 or 12 kids out at different times, many of those lost for the year. Not to be making excuses, he wouldn't want me to, but they'll be back, no question, although they may be playing 5A football next year. Here's the schedule for this Friday night. Opelousas again coming to Bill Ruble Stadium. McDonough 35 is up out of the Crescent City. They're in the Strop, and Franklin Parish is at Pearl River. All right, everybody, time for us to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to sit down with Ryan Gregory, Joey's old buddy, and the Oak Grove Tigers.
That's right.
All right, everybody, see you in a minute.
Body aches can be tough on your day-to-day life, but they're preventable. Chiropractic care is not about pills and surgery. It's about solving the problem, not just the symptoms, the natural way. If you have aches and pains or headaches, chiropractic care can get you back on the road to feeling better. In Northeast Louisiana, patients have relied on the professionalism of Dr. Bob Rendina at the Chiro Network Chiropractic Center in Ruston. You should too, and get back to living.
When you're thinking wings, there's only one place to go. Go Wings, where you'll find many unique wing flavors to choose from. Hot lemon pepper, bacon bourbon, garlic parmesan, buffalo ranch, and much more. There's hand-dipped corn dogs and fresh squeezed lemonade too. And always make room for dessert because the fried pies are phenomenal. Who can resist a fried apple or lemon pie? Open from 11 to late, 7 days a week. Go Wings. It's where to go for wings.
At Louisiana Pain Care, doctors perform non-surgical chronic pain treatments like radiofrequency ablation.
Radiofrequency ablation is a treatment option for facet-related back pain. It is an outpatient procedure that requires specialized training. My partners and I are the only physicians in North Louisiana that have received specialized training to perform this procedure.
If chronic pain limits your life, see the specialist at Louisiana Pain Care.
Who's making the big plays? Find out who's the Beast of the Week. Nominate your favorite high school football star on myarklamiss.com now. Every Thursday night, we'll announce last week's Beast of the Week on Fox 14 News at 9. Brought to you by these sponsors.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Red Zone, and I've got the Tigers of Oak Grove in the house and head coach Ryan Gregory. And first of all, great to have you, great seeing you. We've kept up with you, obviously, on our sportscast on KTVE, but we've been up there with our tailgate show on the radio side, talked to you most Fridays on K104. What's a little bit different this year, and I understand it's only the 7th time in the history of the program, you guys run the gamut, 10-0. Congrats.
Great season. A lot of momentum going into the playoffs, so hopefully we can keep that stuff going.
What do you think has been the difference as it relates to that? Because when somebody told me, oh, yeah, it's the 7th time, I kind of went, you got to be kidding me. It seemed like it had been a lot more than that. But not to take anything away from the accomplishment, but obviously some things have clicked for you this year.
I think, both sides of football have been a lot more consistent on defense as far as giving up big plays. And then on offense, we've been able to spread the football around more than we usually do. Still don't pass it a whole lot, but when we do, we're able to spread it around and get to the edge better.
Yeah, the passing doesn't happen very often.
That's right.
All right, tell everybody who you got with us,
All right,
Ryan.
to my immediate left is senior linebacker David Bruce. David's been starting for us for 4 years. Really just can't say enough about this kid, the way he approaches the game. To his left is Wyatt Rawls, senior linebacker, fullback, one of those old school guys that just plays every snap, both sides of the football, and he plays it to that same speed as he does when he starts the game. So it's really an old school football player, kind of like Coach Pender is.
No, just the old part or old school? Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Yeah. Hey, but that's Oak Grove football.
It is.
To be honest with you.
These two guys kind of capture what Oak Grove football is about.
No question about it. Well, David, welcome to the show. We'll start with you a little bit. Coach made mention about defense and obviously around the program for 4 years. You know it inside and out, but and you guys have got some horses up front, and obviously you get to play behind them. You describe the play on that side of the ball.
It helps a lot having those big D linemen in front of me. Not many O linemen get to come up and touch me, and just get to run through free a lot, so that's pretty good.
What has been the success because of their development, or just as a team you guys have gelled from the get-go?
As a team, I think we're playing great everywhere on defense right now.
We came up there and filmed y'all's game against OCS. I noticed your offensive line looked plenty aggressive. Say something about those guys.
Well, our backs wouldn't be nowhere without our O-line. You know, those are the people that they move the big bodies up there so we can get the yards and, be all the flashy plays and stuff. So without them, we couldn't move the football.
Now, that's one thing I would never say about Oak Grove football, flashy plays.
Flashy enough.
Okay, flashy enough.
Hey, Wyatt, was there a game maybe this year during the course of the 10 that you guys, maybe something clicked and y'all felt like y'all were in a different zone maybe?
Well, I think our last game, Cedar Creek, I just felt like we played our best football that we have in our last few weeks. Everything was just clicking right and the energy was good. I just feel like that's the best that we played in the last few weeks.
And you've told us that on the radio a couple of times. You said, I think back week 6 or 7, you still don't think you played your best game yet.
Yeah, we had, I don't want to say we've kind of flattened out, but we just kind of gotten stale. And, because we had a big win against Sterndon and Wasserman early. We had a big win against OCS, and we kind of flattened out a little bit. So it was good to see that energy level back up week 10 against a good football team.
David, talk to me a little bit about having a bye week. That doesn't happen very often. You sit back and not play ball, but you and Haynesville, many think of the two teams that could meet in New Orleans in December. But do you think it comes at a great time to have an open date to where you kind of get your feet back underneath you?
Yes, sir, but we're treating it like a regular game week. We don't want to rest or nothing. Just getting ready.
I can't imagine you doing a whole lot of prep for either of those two schools. It's probably one of those kind of weeks where you're working back to fundamentals, so to speak.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's kind of unique. You're not really, because you don't know exactly who you're going to play. So It's not like a bye week in week 5 or 6 to where you know who you're going to play that next time. So we're able to take some situations, work that, get some guys healthy, and really take advantage of getting some rest and still keeping it as close to a game week as we can.
Option game that y'all run. Boy, it's a quick hitter, and I've seen you on film. You're a quick hit the hole extremely fast. But boy, them blocks has got to happen immediately, don't they?
Immediately, without them, like I said, we couldn't go anywhere, especially in the option. They got to get up to the linebackers, and we can make a cut, and we can go.
Yeah. Once they get in position, a lot of times you buy them before they can react. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You look pretty fast for a guy from Oak Grove.
Fastest, about 4'8".
He went to that Ryan Gregory speed camp.
That's right.
That's what he was saying before you got it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Picking them up and putting them down. Ask Joey what he ran in high school.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think he got below that.
I think. Everybody from Oak Grove then.
Hey, well, Coach, we appreciate the time. You guys enjoy some wings here at Go Wings, and we look forward to covering you guys. You play the winner of Slaughter Charter, and that's honestly their name, everybody. And LaSalle, a team, the Tigers, you probably stay a little bit familiar with, but like you said, whoever you play, you take them one at a time.
That's right. Appreciate you having us over here.
You bet. All the way down from Oak Grove, join us here at Go Wings tonight. The Tigers, they are the #1 seed in Class 1A, and they get the night off on Friday. You going to watch anybody?
I'm sure we'll meander out there and watch somebody play.
There you have it. Folks, we'll take a commercial break, come back with a lot more football, and we'll talk a little bit about those Golden Tornadoes after this.
In life, some things just go together. Like a burger and fries. And home and auto insurance from State Farm. So make it a combo. Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Just call State Farm agent Jeff Lamont and find out how you can start saving today. It's just another way we're here to help life go right.
Louisiana Delta Community College is your community college. Whatever your aspirations, we're here to help. We offer transfer degrees if you'd like to continue on to university life. We offer associate degrees that can take you to the workforce or to a university. We even offer programs that teach you only the skills you need for the job. And that's not all. If you think you missed out because you didn't earn your high school degree, we can even help with that. Call us today. We have 8 locations to serve you. Louisiana Delta Community College.
You're the first one up in the morning. You're ready for the day, and you've got a lot to do. But sometimes you need a bigger shovel. For over 17 years, Kepper Dirt and Equipment Rental has been keeping the big boys in the big toys. Doesn't matter if you're a hunter, farmer, contractor, or you just like getting dirty. We've got the steel to get the job done right. Kepper Dirt and Equipment Rental. Work done right.
Fox 14, the official home for NFL and New Orleans Saints football.
All right, everybody, you just got through hearing from the Oak Grove Tigers. They are the #1 seed in the single A bracket. On the other side of that baby, and at the bottom, the #2 seed are the Haynesville Golden Tornadoes. And this past Friday night, as you're looking at some of their ball game with Ringgold, it went as expected, but I thought David Franklin certainly very classy in the night. He could have made this thing, well, just really out of touch. But they jumped on him early. Kendrick Ryder got a touchdown. Defense came in and got a sack for a touchdown. They ended up winning at 48-20. But now they get to enjoy a week off before they get into play. Jonesboro Hodge, Joey, not the way they wanted to end the regular season. Green Oaks roughed them up pretty good this past Friday night as you're looking at some of that ball game. Reggie Shallowhorn got things going earlier, but they struggled. And like I said, playing a good football team. But the important thing, put that thing behind them, get ready for their opening round playoff game as they have Delta Charter.
And Delta Charter's got a lot of speed, Gene. There's 2 guys that really stand out, Freddie Mingo and Trey Poole. Both of these guys, one's a running back, one's a receiver, and both of them are 4-3 guys. So Jonesboro Hodge better have the A game.
Well, we caught up with Coach Blankenship, and here are his thoughts.
Delta Charter, we're not going to take them light. Their record don't indicate the talent level they have there. Those coaches do a good job with the scheme that they have. And I've spoken with some coaches that have played them this year, and I got a little insight on them. We're not going to take them lightly. We're going to be ready for them when Friday nights come. Thank God they're coming to Jonesboro Hodge.
Now, of course, you've been watching the show all season long. You know that we've been, I guess, throwing a lot of love the way of Arcadia, and that has a lot to do with their success. But their running back, C.J. Russell, who came into the week needing a little bit right around 450 some odd yards to move past the A-Train, a guy we know both very, very well. And he came darn close, a little over 400, 415, I think. But boy, Arcadia looked very good the other night. But hey, it's not about records now. It's about making a deep run into the playoffs, and they're playing an East Sibreville team that's kind of new to the playoff game a little bit.
You know, last year was their first win in the playoffs, Gene. They actually beat Delhi in the first time they've ever won a playoff game in the history of the school.
Well, here's Coach Carr.
Your message to your team is you have to play disciplined ball. You know, you got to play discipline. You got to read your keys, and you can't get lazy out there, because if you do, it can be 3-yard game, then they breaking into the house, they busting a 50 or 60 yarder. So, you know, it's going to be tough, especially traveling 4 hours and playing on their home field. But it's playoffs. You want competition. That's what you're in this game for. So if we take care of business and go out there and play our best, we'll have a shot at winning.
All right, while we're still talking 1A football, man, how about Cicely Allen, Joey? You know, that's a program that was great for a long time back when Joe Raymond, Peace, Senior and Junior did that baby. Then they quit playing football together. But 4 years ago, restarted the program. And as you look at some of their ball game the other night, they beat Tensas. Maurice Humphrey's got an early touchdown. But here's a program that is so glad to be back in the playoffs, and it's the first time in 20 years they've got Varnado.
They got Varnado, and I'll tell you what, Varnado's got an extremely strong offensive line, which is kind of dangerous, Gene. If they can get there and control the ball, it might be a tough night for Cicely Allen. Their defense has got to play, Gene.
All right, everybody, here's the 1A schedule for Friday night. You're looking at just about everybody. LaSalle taking on as the 17 seed, Slaughter Charter. Boy, I love saying that. Delta Charter is at J.B. Hodge, who mentioned that. Delhi is at home against North Central. Arcadia is at East Iberville. We just mentioned Cicely Island. Tensas is at Bazille. And Oak Grove and Haynesville, we made mention, both having opening round byes. Of course, as we talk 1A football, and it's getting kind of loud in here tonight, we've got a full house, which is nice to see, and we encourage you to come out and visit us with everybody here at Go Wings. We're right here off of Desert Street, off of Highway 165 as you go toward the university. But because of the select, non-select, that's when they kind of separate off. So St. Fred's, OCS, Cedar Creek, all kind of go about their way. St. Fred's, though, a colossal win this past week, and I should say surprising, but boy, they look good as you're looking at some of the highlights of their game against Delhi the other night.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think Andy Robinson is doing a wonderful job. I mean, what 2 big wins back to back. I mean, you caps off to those guys, Gene.
Well, folks, we've got a lot of great food here to eat, to get it back to that subject. So I sent our Chris Demersion over to catch up with Andy to talk about this big playoff opportunity. So as you visit and hear from him, we're going to take care of some more wings.
All right, Gene and Joey, thanks. I got Andy Robinson, the man really doing things here at St. Fred's this year, 8-2 record. First things first, whatever new coaching staff comes in, you guys are supposed to struggle. You guys are supposed to be in last place, not winning ball games. You guys have done the complete opposite.
Yeah, we've been fortunate this year. Obviously, have some guys retained back from the former staff, a lot of great coaches, a lot of really good things in place here kind of coming into the program. So it's been nothing but positive up to this point so far. Obviously, I think we've exceeded some expectations, but, going to the playoffs, you move forward. The records go back to 0-0, and you're going to have to win some playoff games to validate what you've done in the regular season.
Most recently, you guys had that pretty stellar win over Delhi, a team that was averaging, 1 million points a game. You guys held them to 8. How do you do that?
Well, it was, a different night. Obviously, high school football, things are going to happen. The conditions played a big part of it. The weather wasn't favorable for their offense and the things they like to do. And our guys kind of answered the bell a little bit, especially on defense. They were able to make some plays and get some turnovers. And it just got in a tight ball game, and we were able to come up with a few key plays and come out on top at the end.
Again, 8-2 record. I mean, when you first took this job in the summer, last summer, did you think that it was even close to a possibility with these guys?
Well, like I said, we had a few key players coming back, some skill position guys that I thought would impact the team. Obviously, you set the goal to try to win every game. You don't know how the game's going to go. We've been in some close ball games, and guys have done a really good job of finishing those games off. So credits to the team, the coaches, and getting those guys ready. I try to put them in a lot of different situations. We've experienced those situations up to this point, and we look forward to the opportunity in the playoffs.
With that being said, you see 8-2 record, and you realize, okay, one loss to a very good Oak Grove team. The other one is to a Loyola Prep team you were in until the last quarter of the ball game, last play, really.
Yeah, we battled back in the game. That was a kind of a get over the hump game for us, where we kind of, had a lot of validity to the things that we were doing. The kids kind of came from behind, made it a one-score game in the fourth quarter. Felt like they were a pretty good football team, comparable to some of the good football teams that we'd want to play. And, our guys did a good job of handling that situation. Obviously, the talent, the team that Coach Gregory has up there at Oak Grove, they're going to win a lot of games. I know they got a good seed, and they're expected to do well in the playoffs. So, but along the way, we played some other good teams in our district, I think very comparable, like opponents. And like I said, we were just able to kind of come out on top of those games. And that's the difference in our seeding and our record right now, is winning those tight games.
We were talking beforehand, you have several playmakers, especially on the offensive side of the football, including your quarterback.
Yeah, Andy Williams has had a big year for us. He's done a really good job of, executing and doing the things that we ask him to do and kind of playing within the offense. And then obviously Pat Johnson out at receiver and forward Sparks, and then some other key players that have played well for us. But fortunately, those guys have stayed healthy. That's been a key to our success also. And like I said, we look forward to the opportunity. Hopefully we'll play well this Friday.
St. Fred's get a chance to host a playoff game. When was the last time St. Fred's hosted a playoff game?
I think 2013 might have been the last year that we had a home playoff game here. That was the first year of the split. Obviously, the record and the teams that we played and the points that we've been able to accumulate up to this point gave us the opportunity to do that. Our fans are excited, our student body's excited, alumni is excited to do that, and got a really good team in Sacred Heart coming in here Friday.
That being said, of the fans and the community support, how much support have you seen from the community to finally a playoff game here?
Well, and like I said, they've been a really good program in the past. They've won a lot of football games here, so it's not like you're coming in to a program that hadn't won or hadn't gone to the playoffs in several years. But we have won some games that are of value to the alumni and to the student body, and we've been able to kind of push through that barrier a little bit. And it's just created a lot of excitement around our program through our feeder schools and obviously in the community. I've got nothing but great support from that. I think our kids have got nothing but great support. So we're excited about that, and it's just kind of a refreshing excitement around St. Frederick's right now.
Hey, going to the postseason is 6 versus 11. You guys have Sacred Heart. For those of us who don't know anything about Sacred Heart, now what do they bring to the table?
Well, with our division, there's only 16 playoff teams. It's almost like starting in the second round. They send most of the other bad teams home, so to speak. Sacred Heart's a really good football team. They're coming in here with a 7-3 record. Played Ouachita Christian in the first round of the playoffs last year, so they're familiar with our district and the type of games that we play up here. They're excited about the opportunity to get up here, and they're going to be a good football team. I expect nothing less from them. They play hard on tape, very smart, strong, physical football team. So it should be a great high school game here Friday night. The playoffs, the stakes are going to be high, and that's the games you want to be in this time of year.
All right, head coach Andy Robinson of the St. Fred Warriors. Playoffs here Friday night at 7 o'clock against Sacred Heart. Gene and Joey, back to you.
Of course, I mentioned OCS. They go in as the 9th seed in that bracket. They'll be at the 8th seed Central Catholic. It comes on the heels of what was a relatively easy win this past Friday night against Delta Charter, Joey.
Well, I tell you what, OCS has got a fine program. And although they rank 9, Gene, they're going to upset some folks in this playoff.
Coach Stephen Fitzhugh, tell us about that opponent on Friday.
I tell you, exciting part of the year. We, for the 3rd year in a row, we were the number 9 seed. And so we'll travel this first round, headed down to Morgan City to play Central Catholic. They have an outstanding football team, good size on the offense and defensive line. They predominantly run the ball offensively, but they have several receivers that they can air it out to as well. Defensively, they're a team that plays a lot of man coverage, and they're going to try to put pressure on you up front. So our offensive lines are going to have to really make sure we do a good job of communication and picking up the blitzes and things like that. And again, I thought that we played our best game this past week in Week 10, and we just need to build on that this week and go down to Morgan City and get the win so that we can be back here and play the number 1 seed at home at our place next week.
Of course, Cedar Creek is another area team that is moving on in that Division IV bracket. This past Friday night, they got roughed up pretty good by Oak Grove. Certainly not the momentum they want to have going into the postseason, like somebody we spoke about just a couple of minutes ago. But the Cougars have the potential, I think, to make some noise. They're playing a Central Catholic team, or Vermilion Catholic team, my bad, that they have seen before.
Yeah. They've had rounds with these guys through the playoffs before. But I'm tell you, Cedar Creek's got that running back, Lane Blue, and he is a
big old boy.
He is a show pony, and I imagine he's going to carry the ball a few times.
All right, I caught up with Shannon Brown. Coach?
We've played Vermilion Catholic. I think we played them 2 years ago in the playoffs. Had them a few times before that. So there is a little bit of familiarity with them, but they're a good team, so we'll have to go down there and be ready to play.
All right, everybody, so in a nutshell, you're looking at the D4 lineup for our area teams on a Friday night. St. Frederick, the only of the 3 with a home game. Ouachita Christian and Cedar Creek will both have to go get it done on the road. Tallulah Academy, folks, in 8-man football. You're looking at some of their ball game against Sharkey Esquina the other night. They are the top seed. I'm talking about Tallulah, and boy, they looked the part the other night. You're looking at a young man who might be one of the best 8-man football players in the country. Joshua Collins goes in from a touchdown for 20 yards out. He is 5th in the country in rushing yards for 8-man ball, and he's already been invited to the All-American game this year. So no doubt a very good football player, and we will keep you posted on their progress through the postseason. The only other ball game this week is Columbus Academy at Union Christian. Union has not played football, folks, in 3 weeks. This will be the 3rd week that they return because of a bye and so on and so forth in the bracket. But anyway, I caught up with their head coach and asked him about Friday's matchup.
We had an open day, week 11. We had a bye last week. We hadn't played in 3 weeks Friday night. We've got a pretty explosive offense led by Nick Evans. He's around 1,700 yards this season. His brother Chris is the quarterback. And we've got an exciting offense. Defensively, we've spent the last 3 weeks working on things we need to, improve on. A few years ago, we had some success, and we were a game away from the championship. 4 points stopped us from making it to the championship. And this group of seniors would be huge for them. Most of them were here as 7th graders, and they've done the work. They've done what I've asked them to do, and this would be a great reward for them to get to the championship.
All right, thank you very much, Trey. And of course, those guys are joining the 8-man game next season.
Yeah, that 8-man football is a little different, Gene.
Yeah.
They don't play with offensive tackles. It's more like kind of a backyard football.
Game.
It would
you
not
and
be.
I would not be good enough.
We'd be out. We'll be out.
We are out, by the way. We got a commercial break. We'll see you in a minute.
Introducing Sonic's Crispy Tenders. They're flavorful, they're crispy, they're flispy. Yeah, that's it. Flispy. Sonic's Crispy Tender Dinner. Hurry in and try it today. This is how you Sonic.
At Sonic, we're dedicated to the future of this community.
That's why we're proud sponsor of the Sonic Drive-In Red Zone Scholarship.
A $2,000 scholarship will be awarded to a deserving high school senior, and in turn will be used to help further his or her education at the college of that student's choice.
Applications can be picked up at any participating Sonic Drive-In in Monroe, West Monroe, Jonesboro, or Winfield, and all entries are due in or before November 12th. Sonic Drive-In in Red Zone, proving students are winners.
Hungry for a big juicy steak? How about a rack of barbecue ribs? Well, there's no better place for meat than Randall's Fine Meats. Juicy, fresh-cut 1855 steaks, boudin and boudin balls, daily rib specials, just $11.99 a slab, stuffed pork chops, fresh-made meat pies, boiled shrimp, fried cracklins, big bone chicken, and stuffed potatoes. Randall's caters. Call and let us cater your next event. It's fresh every day at Randall's Fine Meats on the corner of Old Sterlington Road and Fink's Hideaway in Monroe.
Fox 14, the official home for NFL and New Orleans Saints football.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ross Downs Red Zone here on a Wednesday night on Fox 14. I want to remind you, too, that we're going to be continuing the show all the way up through that Thanksgiving Friday. So still, obviously, a lot more football to talk about. Let's keep rocking along. Sterlington High School in a great spot, hoping to get back to the Superdome. I think they drew the 4th seed this coming week. On Friday night, they avenged last year's loss, the only one in the regular season, to Richwood. Jordan Townsend kind of got them rocking and rolling early after a great block from Trey Rudd. Got them into the end zone. Panthers went up early, 20-0 at the break, and just doing what the Panthers do best. But this week, seeing a team that I don't think I've ever seen play, although I know who they are, and that's Cohen in New Orleans.
Yeah, I've never seen them play either, Gene. I do know this. They went 4-5 last year. They got the majority of their football team returning, so it could be a contest for the Panthers.
Well, this Friday night we're playing Cohen College Prep out of New Orleans, and they're a different team than anybody we played this year. They run the single wing offense, and we're trying to figure out how to defend it, and got some good athletes on defense. So gonna have our hands full this Friday night.
All right, let's continue our coverage of 3A football. The Washington Wildcats, got in a track meet last week against Union Parish. Literally both teams exchanging blows back and forth before somebody finally blinked. But I think Dean Smith certainly has to be happy with the way they're playing, although they have a good and a tough opponent this week against Green Oaks.
Yeah, because Green Oaks went to Jonesboro Hodge last week, and Jonesboro was leading at halftime, and Green Oaks came back and won the game. Something kind of unique about Green Oaks, Terrence Isaac is the head coach, but his son, Gene, is their best receiver. So that'll be pretty interesting.
Well, the loss cost them an opportunity to host an opening round playoff game. So they're going over to Hedges Stadium, and they're playing Saturday night in this opening round. Here's Coach Dean Smith.
This Saturday we play Green Oaks at Lee Hedges Stadium. Had a change of date and stadium issues in Shreveport. So that'll be this Saturday at 7 o'clock for the fans that want to come out and support Washington High School. But going forward, they have a great offensive scheme. the quarterback's thrown for 2,000 yards passing, have a couple 1,000-yard receivers. He does a great job. He's a young sophomore quarterback. Not really strong on his legs, really that's about his arm. So I'm looking forward to that match with my defensive backs. Last week we got challenged a little bit last week and kind of had some problems. So I'm looking forward to this week to see can we respond to some adversity.
Obviously, I just made mention of that track meet a minute ago. Formerville survived that thing and won 50-45 against the Wildcats. They were obviously going to the postseason no matter what. But I think Coach Spatafor has a good football team. And again, we're looking at some of their highlights against the Cats the other night. Their quarterback Trent Ginn, is a playmaker, and if he's on both running that ground attack and throwing the football well like he did the other night, I think they've got a great chance of moving deep in this thing. But they play a pretty salty team in Bogalusa.
Yeah, Bogalusa's got a fine football team. They have a running back named Chad Smith. He's a 4-5 guy, but he's going to have to face a pretty good defense for Union.
Spat.
They're very quick and fast on offense, very athletic, do a lot of RPO. And they're, as you said, they've gotten better as the season's progressed with their new coach and their new offense. And I actually have a little, played them back in 2015, and they beat us right here in the first round of the playoffs. Very athletic, physical, big up front. We got to come to play.
All right, Joe, before we get out of 3A football, a quick shout out to the Carroll Bulldogs and the Madison Jaguars. Of course, they struggled all season long. They tried to compete in AAA football with 20, 21 kids. We both know that's impossible.
That's impossible, Gene. Wear some tear on your kid. You look at Carroll High School, Tank's first year, Tank's going to get that thing turned. The future looks good for Carroll. And Madison, they got to get more guys out.
Well, you've been looking at some of the plays from the other night, but the Bulldogs got the win 34-12. All right, here's the 3A playoff schedule, everybody, for Friday night against Sterlington with a home game. Union Parish is the 5 seed. They're obviously at home. How about Avoyelles going to Caldwell Parish? That's a 23 versus a 10. South Beauregard takes on the Giants of Gina. And then we just got through talking about Wassman at Green Oaks. All right, let's talk 2A football now. Joey Faraday and Vidalia, we've been talking about them all season long. The Trojans will go into the postseason as the 3 seed. That obviously gets them a home game. Here's some of their contests the other night against Beekman Charter. But in the opening round, they'll take it's another one of those teams you don't hear a lot about, and that's Vinton.
Vinton's got 2 real good running backs. They both guys run a 4.5 and a 40, real physical running backs, but they're real young on defense, Gene, and that could be a concern for Vinton.
All right, let's talk about Vidalia. They're just up the road there in Concordia Parish. You're looking at some of their contests against Dale High Charter the other night, a ball game that they won big, 50-22. Certainly no strangers to the playoffs or the Vikings. But this is the team I'm going to tell you about. I've never seen Oakdale play, but they're always around the postseason.
Well, Gene, I can tell you I've seen Oakdale play because that's where I went to high school at, Gene.
Did you really?
Yeah, I went to Oakdale High School.
Attaboy.
But I tell you, they got a running back and linebacker. His name is Hunter Legino, a great football player, 235 pounds. So he can bring the wood.
All right, and finally, let's talk about the Hornets of Rayville. They'll go into the postseason as the 16th seed. Obviously put them on the cut line, but a team that I think could be dangerous in some respects. Here's some of their contests against a pretty good General Trash team that also went. They also headed to the postseason. In fact, they're a 14 seed. But anyway, they've got a young quarterback in James Powell, who is the guy that makes things happen. But they're going to have game on as they play North Caddo.
Well, North Caddo has 8 starters back on offense. 2 of those guys are running backs, Gene. James Brown is one of them, 4.4 in the 40. So they definitely going to have to play defense.
All right, here's Lent Bursey. Coach, give it to us.
We got a familiar opponent in North Caddo. Played them a couple years ago, and it was a shootout. I think that was over 100 points scored between both teams. Coach Cavanaugh is doing an excellent job with those guys. He's got them in the playoffs. They're playing very well. They come from a tough district like we do. So it's going to be an exciting ball game come Friday night here at Rayville Stadium.
All right, a reminder, everybody, the Hornets at home as you're looking at the rest of the lineup for our Area 2A ball clubs. Faraday hosting Vinton. Again, Vidalia at their place. General Trans getting a piece of Lakeside. Ravel at home. And Delhi Charter going down to St. Helena on Friday night. All right, time for us to take a quick break. We'll come back here to Go Wings in Monroe right here on DeSier Street when we come back.
It's been a few years since my playing days.
Even longer for me, but the dedication to hard work,
The competition too, Dad.
has laid the foundation for the type of attorneys we are.
Our team at the Downs Law Firm is proud to support our local high school football programs.
All season long, you'll hear us on K104 Friday Night Scoreboard Show, and this year we're helping to raise money for local charities as part of our Game of the Week.
Winning on and off the field.
It's what we do.
Get in the game. Call Ross.
Welcome to River Grill, a relaxed, friendly place to dine in Monroe. There's always something going on. Stop in for Tito's Taco Tuesday. Watch the game at our place and sample our game day appetizer menu. Unwind with our daily drink specials. During happy hour, get half off domestic bottles and house wine. Have weekend brunch at River Grill and sip on bottomless mimosas and our signature Build Your Own Bloody Mary. And listen out for live music on our patio. There's always something going on at River Grill.
All right, I told you it was a packed house. That's the leadership team of the Neville Tigers. Coach Mickey McCarty bringing a pretty big house full over here to Go Wings this week, and great to have them in here along with Oak Grove and, of course, the guys from Ruston as well. All right, before we get out of here tonight and wrap things up with our music video, a real quick note that our tailgate show on the radio goes down to your neck of the woods.
I tell you, they go to Caldwell Peacock Stadium there at Jonesboro Hodge, and of course Terrence Blankenship, the head coach, played for me back in the day, and it's going to be nice going back home.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very cool. That's the tailgate show, everybody, on FM 105.7 and KMLB AM 540. It begins Friday from 5 to 6:30, and then of course on K104 later on that night, you're home for high school football when you're on the road. It is the Ross Downs Friday Night Scoreboard Show, and I'll tell you, it has been an incredible experience being a part of that this year. It has grown tremendously in regard to our sponsorships, who we love to death, and also the folks that are covering us and following us on Facebook. It has been very, very cool.
You know, that show has been nicknamed the Big Show, Gene, and it could be for several reasons. You know,
you and I and Ross and Clay having a piece of that.
That's right. We kind of in that a little bit too.
Yeah, no question about it. Folks, regardless of where you're going on Friday night, we certainly hope you'll be right back here on Fox 14 next Wednesday night for another edition of the Ross Downs Red Zone. And a real quick reminder before we get out of here, don't forget to get by the Sonics in Monroe, West Monroe, Jonesboro, and Winfield. Pick up that $2,000 scholarship application. Get that baby filled out. Deadline is coming up the middle of next week. All right, folks, that does it. Again, we appreciate the great folks here at Go Wings for their great hospitality and great food, and we'll hope to see you back here next week. Here's our music video brought to you by our good friend, Eddie Kepper.
Thank you.